I already covered Buffalo at Kansas City and Monday Night Football, the Colts at Baltimore. But there are 11 other things that happened during NFL Week 5 I want to talk about. Number one is this. I want to give some respect to Giants rookie receiver Kadarius Toney. I did a topic last week called redrafting the Giants, and I kind of talked some smack about the Giants drafting him. Well, during NFL Week 5 against Dallas, Kadarius Toney had 10 catches for 189 yards. That's outstanding. I guess I stand corrected. He was really working hard to justify himself being drafted with the number 20 overall pick. And it's also kind of funny, he got ejected from this game with 6 minutes left. So in theory, he could have had another catch and maybe a couple more yards if he'd played the entire game. And he punched someone in the fourth quarter. I don't know what happened there, but Kadarius Toney, I want to give him respect. I talked smack, and it's almost like he heard it. Surely he did not, but Kadarius Toney played outstanding during Week 5 against Dallas, and got my attention, and I'm very, very excited to see Kadarius Toney play more the rest of this year. Also in this game, Giants at Dallas, Daniel Jones, the Giants quarterback, got a concussion. That's really bad. And then their running back, Saquon Barkley, got an ankle injury. So if you're a Giants fan, I hope you are doing okay, because I worry about you guys and your mental health. And then also shout out to Cowboys corner Trevon Diggs. He had another interception against the Giants. He now has 6 interceptions in 5 games. It's just ridiculous. He's playing very, very well. Trevon Diggs, is he the best Diggs brother? Like, they were talking about that during the Kansas City Buffalo game on Sunday night. They're like, well, Stephon Diggs is really good. Is his brother, Trevon Diggs, an even better football player? It just, it's so cool to see a guy who, in college, he got switched from receiver to corner and was upset about it. And now he's like playing outstanding, one of the best young corners in the NFL. And round of applause for Trevon Diggs playing very, very well so far this year. Now, number 2, the Denver Broncos lost to Pittsburgh 27-19. And look, man, I am losing all confidence in Denver. I've been talking him up all year, and last week, Teddy Bridgewater, their quarterback, got a concussion, didn't play in the second half. And I'm like, well, okay, let's just hang on and see how they do when their quarterback plays an entire game. I said it's hard to judge their quarterback, or hard to judge Denver without their starting quarterback, for half the game. It's a bit harsh. Now, this week against Pittsburgh, did Teddy Bridgewater play the entire game? Yep. And did Denver dominate? No, they did not. They lost. And I got to say, we'll see how the year goes. But if the rest of the year for Denver is anything like what we saw during NFL Week 5, where this team is good, but they're not winning and it's not going well, then you got to move on from Vic Fangio, the head coach, and you got to get a new quarterback. And I just, there's too much talent on this Denver team. They're so good everywhere. There's talent across the board. They have to win football games, and you cannot be held back by your coach and your quarterback. They need to be winning, and I fear that we're learning this year that when Denver plays an opponent that isn't awful, they beat the Giants, the Jets, and the Jaguars this year. I'm worried that when they play a team that isn't terrible, they can't win. I can't believe Denver's defense made Big Ben look good, and that Vic Fangio, the head coach of the Broncos, is supposed to be a defensive guy. I'm like, what's going on? It's supposed to be a strong suit. Now, the next 2 weeks for Denver, they're really, really big. You play the Raiders, who just lost their head coach. And, Derek Carr's been playing well, but that's it. You got to beat the Raiders next week. And then you play at Cleveland in 2 weeks from now. So those are 2 opportunities for Denver to gain my respect. But again, I'm not only lukewarm on Denver, I'm cooling. Like, I am really not impressed with what's been going on in Denver so far this year. 3 victories over terrible football teams does not impress me at all. Also, by the way, Steelers receiver in this game, Juju Smith-Schuster, got hurt. He's out for the year. So if you're a Steelers fan, I'm sorry for you guys. I feel bad. Okay, number 3, Philly beat Carolina 21-18. It's a great win for Philly. I was so happy for Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts. This was not his best game, but he did run for 2 touchdowns, had a great 2-point conversion. And there was a play that is not going to get any love or talked about or not going to get any respect, but there was a play where the ball got snapped over Jalen Hurts' head and landed in his own end zone. And you got to credit Jalen for fighting and knocking the ball around and getting it out of bounds. It was really it was a safety for Carolina. Only gave him 2 points. If that had been a touchdown, that really would have been the play that. That's the difference in the game. If that play is a touchdown instead of a safety, the Eagles would have lost rather than won. And so, if you're a Philly fan, don't forget that Jalen Hurts made that little play that really mattered later. Now, Panthers quarterback Sam Darnold had 3 interceptions. That's big. That can't happen. They were ugly too. They weren't like, it wasn't like they bounced off a receiver's helmet or something. They were like just not good decisions and not good throws. And overall, when Carolina was 3-0, I remember saying like, hey, relax, slow down. Panther fans, temper your expectations. People are all angry, but I'm like, well, guys, come on. You're a passionate fan. Fan is a root of the word fanatical, which is a little bit not fully rational. And now Carolina has lost 2 games in a row. It's not a shock. I had Carolina going 7-10 this year. And there is a lot to be excited about if you're a Panthers fan. But don't forget, they're still rebuilding. It's okay. Don't panic. You're still 3-2. You got a good future ahead of you. But if you lose a bunch of games this year, again, I had them going 7-10. I'm excited about their future. Things are going well. But that 3-0 wasn't going to last forever. They weren't going to be undefeated all year. And losing to Philly is an example of that. Number 4. Shockingly, the Patriots barely beat the Houston Texans 25-22 during NFL Week 5. And first of all, the Patriots are missing 4 of their 5 starters on the offensive line. Still, though, their defense really surprised me. I was, disappointed in their defense. I was shocked. Houston at one point had a 22-9 lead in the second half of this football game. Texans quarterback, a rookie, Davis Mills, a 3rd-round pick, looked really, really good against Bill Belichick's defense. He was 21 for 29 passing, 312 yards, 3 touchdowns. I have never seen a rookie quarterback play better against a Bill Belichick defense than I saw Davis Mills play during NFL Week 5 of 2021. And remember, last year, Belichick, with a Patriots team that I think everyone would agree it was a worse Patriots team than they have this year. Last year, Belichick beat Justin Herbert 45-0. So when I say it's the best I've ever seen a rookie quarterback play against Bill Belichick, remember, Justin Herbert got destroyed last year. Davis Mills had a really, really impressive performance during NFL Week 5. Now, the turning point in this game I thought was a self-inflicted wound by Houston. They tried to get cute, tried a little trick play bluff, and then they punted, and the punt got blocked. And it gave Patriots great field position. That shifted all the momentum of the game towards New England. And it's crazy to say, Houston probably should have beat New England, but it's true. Now, the Texans kicker missed a field goal and 2 extra points. That's the difference in the game. If you make those field goals, and if you make that field goal and the 2 extra points, Houston would have won that football game. So I think it's a rare win that was a surprise. I mean, I just thought Houston should have won. It was an ugly win for the New England Patriots. They had a fumble on the goal line. Now, the one positive thing you can say if you're a Patriots fan is, well, at least our young quarterback, our rookie quarterback, Mac Jones, led the game-winning drive in the 4th quarter. But again, it was a really, really ugly win for New England. Number 5, let's talk about Tom Brady for a second. We talked about New England. We might as well talk about their former quarterback. Against Miami, Tom Brady was 30 for 41 passing with 411 yards and 5 touchdowns. I think Tom Brady's actually underappreciated. Do you realize he is 44 years old? It's unbelievable what Tom Brady's doing. And he might be playing the best football of his career, which is insane. So I just think we're seeing this really, really incredible, impressive performance right in front of us. Tom Brady, 44 years old, again, maybe playing the best football of his career. And somehow, I think, I put on my Instagram story a while back, write in some of the players who are underrated in the NFL, and I would actually say that I think, weirdly enough, Tom Brady somehow still is underrated. Playing as well as he is at 44 years old should get talked about even more. Now, number 6, the Saints beat Washington 33-22, and I'll be honest, I still do not know what to make of New Orleans this year. They've got a good defense. They're 3-2. They're a solid football team, and maybe that's what it is. They're solid. But I still think they haven't reached their potential. And on Sunday, Saints quarterback Jameis Winston had 4 touchdowns. He also had a really ugly bad interception on the first possession of the game. and he was 15 for 30 passing. That's only a 50% completion percentage. And I just wonder, like, is Jameis capable of playing clean and efficient football? Maybe not. You would think if anyone can get that out of him, it's the Saints head coach, Sean Payton. And probably not, because we've seen, Jameis play his entire career, and he's always been not the efficient guy. Like, he's the guy who threw 33 touchdowns and 30 interceptions. So it's not a shock to see Jameis Winston not playing clean, efficient football. But I just wonder, is there ever going to be a moment where Jameis, it clicks for him and he's not just a 50% completion percentage guy? I don't know. I'd love to see that. Now, Washington quarterback Taylor Heineke, he's fun to watch. He made some good throws. He converted a 4th and 14 in this game. But Taylor Heineke also had 2 really ugly interceptions. He had a fade on the goal line. He underthrew, got picked off, and then later he had a deep ball way in his own territory. I want to maintain that, yes, Taylor Heineke is a fun quarterback to watch, but he's a duct tape quarterback. What that means is he's good enough until you find a franchise quarterback. But duct tape doesn't last forever. And I would not build around Washington's quarterback, Taylor Heineke. He's fine. He's good for now, but you're always still going to be looking for your next franchise quarterback, a Justin Herbert type quarterback. And by the way, think about this. Washington, they got Chase Young. They love him. Washington passed on Justin Herbert too. There a lot of teams passed on Justin Herbert, and you're like, oh man. Imagine if Washington right now had Justin Herbert at quarterback. I mean, it's just, wouldn't you love to have him? It's just the only team that I think could have passed on Justin Herbert and not regretted it is the Bengals, who got Joe Burrow. So, and that's even one. They're happy. We're not going to argue that. Just shut up and be happy with just Joe Burrow. But still, man, it's like, wow. Now, number 7, the Bears beat the Raiders 20-9. 9 points is another disappointing performance for the Raiders offense. Although, obviously they had a lot of stuff going on off the field with their head coach, John Gruden. You would assume that played into their struggles on the field. But in the first quarter, they got on the goal line. They had to settle for a field goal. And then later, the Raiders got stopped on 4th and 1. Bryan Edwards, their receiver, had a big drop. And again, I maintain, I think the John Gruden stuff really affected the Raiders against Chicago. Now, it is kind of funny that John Gruden's final game in the NFL as a head coach, he lost to Khalil Mack. It's like, oh, of course that's how it happened. It's kind of funny there. I saw that. That was a tweet from Brandon Perna I saw. Either way, the Raiders, they play at Denver next week. It's a big game for both teams. It'll be very interesting to see what happens. How does Derek Carr bounce back, given all that's happened? And then Bears rookie quarterback Justin Fields won his 2nd start in a row. It's like, oh, wait. Justin Fields, very quietly, he had a terrible start to his career against Cleveland, but then beat Detroit last week. He beats the Raiders in week 5. And things are starting to seem kind of, all rightish if you're a Chicago Bears fan. Justin Fields was 12 for 20 passing, 111 yards, threw a touchdown. And he did hyperextend his knee. That's disappointing. And I want to see him run more. And so that means because of the knee injury, we're probably not going to see Justin Fields run around even more. But I expect we won't. But I am just, every week I'm like, when is Justin Fields going to run around and make a big play? And it hasn't happened, and it's probably now not going to happen based on the injury. Number 8, the Vikings beat the Lions 19-17 with a last-second field goal. And good for Minnesota. They've got a shot now to save their season. They are 2-3, and we'll see how the rest of the year goes for Minnesota. But Detroit is 0-5. And, man, the Lions have been so close to winning. Every game, I'm like, remember, this team had the lead at halftime over Green Bay. Detroit is not awful. Their record says they're awful, but I don't care about outcomes. I do, but you also have to look at context. And the context is, hey, Detroit's being held back by their quarterback, Jared Goff. Turnovers are killing Jared Goff. He had a fumble and an interception this week against Minnesota in field goal range. That cost you the game. And if Detroit can draft the right quarterback, then they're going to win some of these close games. I mean, think about this. Imagine if Detroit brings in Liberty quarterback Malik Willis. You let Jared Goff start week 1 next year. You wait until Malik Willis is healthy. But I really believe that Detroit is closer to winning than people realize. And right now, the main problem is their quarterback, Jared Goff. He's got too many turnovers in crucial moments, and He's getting, points are being taken off the board because of Jared Goff mistakes. And number 9, the Cardinals beat the 49ers 17-10. Arizona is 5-0. The more I see them every week, the more impressive they get. Rondale Moore had a crazy catch along the sideline, getting one foot in when then dragging the other one is ridiculous. And then DeAndre Hopkins had 2 really big catches. One of them was a monster touchdown catch over Josh Norman on the goal line. So next week, Arizona plays at Cleveland. I cannot wait for that. Look, Baker Mayfield against Kyler Murray, 2 former Oklahoma quarterbacks. Arizona on the road at Cleveland. Can they stay undefeated against a really good Cleveland Browns football team? That'll be really, really cool to see. Now, 49ers quarterback Trey Lance made his first ever NFL start this week. And I don't want to overreact. I think 49ers fans just got to be patient. There were some good plays. There were some bad plays. Clearly, Trey Lance is very, very talented. And I would encourage people to remember back to the way Bills quarterback Josh Allen played in year 1. Like, statistically, Josh Rosen and Josh Allen in their rookie year were very, very similar. Like, Josh Allen was not a world beater during year 1 in Buffalo. And it took him a while. But now Josh Allen is an MVP candidate. So stay pat. It's okay. Be patient. Because now you have, I thought on Sunday night, Josh Allen outplayed Patrick Mahomes. Like, let Trey Lance develop the same way that Josh Allen was given time to develop in Buffalo. Be patient. Let it give it time. Because if you do, I think Trey Lance can develop into a star quarterback who dominates in the NFL. The same way you have Josh Allen and Justin Herbert playing very, very well. Just be patient if you're a 49er fan. The number 10, the Chargers beat the Browns 47-42. And first of all, this is a game that in the past, under a different head coach and with a different quarterback, the Chargers would have lost. Like 2 years ago, Phillip Rivers, Anthony Lynn, the Chargers would have lost in a close game like this. And then 2 years ago, Cleveland, they would have got blown out 47-14. Like Cleveland, think about how far LA and Cleveland have come. The Chargers are a better organization. I think Cleveland's come even farther, where Cleveland was just a terrible, terrible organization. And they're 3-2. They've got the Cleveland Browns fans were very disappointed they lost this game. Fair enough. You get to be disappointed. But I will say, don't forget how far you have come. It's really cool to see the Browns even being competitive at all, let alone almost beating probably the best team in the AFC. That's fantastic. Both teams are now heavyweights in the AFC. I would love to see a matchup, like a rematch, I guess, of LA and Cleveland in the playoffs later. That would be a very, very fun divisional round game or an AFC title game between, Cleveland and LA, the Chargers and Browns. Would be really, really fun to see. I'll take Justin Herbert against anybody in the AFC title game. Would be a blast. Now, it's a bit weird. I see people, especially Browns fans, blaming their quarterback, Baker Mayfield, for this loss. And I don't know. Baker scored 42 points, had 0 turnovers. I thought that Baker certainly did enough to win that football game. And if anything, if you want someone to blame, if you're a Browns fan, you're looking for someone to blame for that loss during Week 5, remember that on 3rd and 5 with 2 minutes and 55 seconds to go, Browns coach Kevin Stefanski ran the ball. I'm like, why? Why? For some reason, he just conceded the possession, punted the ball away back to Justin Herbert. Why would you willingly give the ball to Justin Herbert at the end of a game? I have no idea. Very bizarre. And I just want to remind people, if you're looking for someone to blame in Cleveland, it might be Kevin Stefanski. Don't blame Baker Mayfield. Blame the coach for that call. That was very, very weird. Now, number 11, I saved the best for last. The Packers beat the Bengals 25-22 in overtime. This was a crazy game. Joe Burrow and Aaron Rodgers playing on the same field in the same game. I was hoping for fun. We got that. It was also very bizarre. Neither team could hit a field goal in the fourth quarter or in overtime. Green Bay's kicker missed 2 field goals at the end of the fourth quarter. Then he missed another one in overtime. Bengals kicker Evan McPherson missed the game-winning kick 2 times, one in the fourth quarter, and then again in overtime. Eventually, Green Bay kicker Mason Crosby redeemed himself and hit the game-winning kick in overtime. Now, so Green Bay won. But walking away from this game, a couple things come to mind. First of all, Aaron Rodgers. Wow. Wow, I love watching Aaron Rodgers play football. Hit this beautiful deep ball down the middle to Davante Adams. Chef's kiss. It was fantastic. Davante Adams had 11 catches for 206 yards and a touchdown. Also, there's another Packers receiver you got to talk about. Randall Cobb had a catch in overtime. It set up the game-winning field goal. 3rd and 16. Crucial catch between two defenders, brought the ball in. And Aaron Rodgers really wanted the Packers to bring in Randall Cobb. It's already paying off. That's very cool and very exciting. Now, Bengals receiver, on the other side, Jamar Chase had a crazy day too. He had 6 catches for 159 yards. He had a 70-yard touchdown catch with 36 seconds before halftime. It was like, oh my gosh, Joe Burrow extends a play. Jamar Chase runs across the field, bang, deep ball, touchdown. You're like, wow, that guy is really good at football. And then he also had a crazy back shoulder catch along the sideline, got both feet in. Jamar Chase is amazing. And I think watching the Bengals, I finally accepted that if I had to pick one quarterback that was my favorite quarterback to watch in the NFL, it would be Joe Burrow. I love the guy. He's so much fun to watch. His swagger, his confidence, the way he carries himself. He makes plays, man. Like, Joe Burrow is I don't know the word. Like, he's just so dominating. I love, like, he's competitive. You can see it. I will always remember that soundbite from last week where he was like, play me cover 0. I dare you. You know, I kind of want to get a Joe Burrow jersey. I think Bengals fans think I hate Cincinnati. That could not be farther from the truth. It's one of my favorite cities in America. Probably Honolulu, then Cincinnati. I'm weird like that. I have favorites, and I have no problem saying that. I love watching the guy, and Joe Burrow is fantastic. So that is the noteworthy 11 for NFL Week 5.